We all know that 1984 was about surveillance, about governments watching citizens, about cameras and control from the outside. But I think there may have been another warning in Orwell's writing. I think he was pointing towards something maybe a little bit quieter, something many of us do every single day. We learn to watch our own selves. We learn to edit ourselves and perform way before anyone else asks us to. And once that happens, external control becomes almost unnecessary. Think of it like this: the guard from the outside, unnecessary because we created our own guard on the inside. Welcome to Incandescent Voltage, Luminous Being. My name is Tiffany, and I have been a functional medicine health coach since 2017. Everything shared on this channel is for educational and reflective purposes only and is not medical advice. You are the keeper of your own current. So please seek out medical or mental health support whenever needed. Many women I work with are not struggling because they lack discipline. They're struggling because they've spent decades becoming who everybody else needed them to be: the responsible one, the helper, the achiever, the peacekeeper, the good employee, the good wife, the good mother, the good daughter, the good friend, the one who doesn't make trouble, the one who keeps smiling, the one who keeps going. And somewhere along the way, the performance became so practiced that it started to feel like a personality, not because it was false, but because it was survival. The nervous system learns very quickly: if being myself creates rejection, I'll just become somebody safer. And so the adaptation begins. Sometimes gradually or over years, sometimes in a single childhood moment when something important became very, very clear that certain versions of yourself were welcome and others were not. The version that was quiet, agreeable, useful, capable, and uncomplicated, that version got to stay, and the others learned to wait. I remember reading a journal entry from years ago, and a single question stared back at me: if I died today, how would I feel about the life that I lived? Not the life that looked successful or the life that other people approved of, the life that actually belonged to me. And what struck me wasn't the answer. It was the realization that I had spent years performing a version of myself, showing up, checking boxes, meeting expectations, doing everything correctly, and still being somewhat absent from my own life, as if the real me had disappeared into the background. Something or someone else had taken the stage. And I think many of you know exactly what I mean. And it's not because your life isn't real or because relationships don't matter, but because there's a difference between living your life and performing it. And many of us have been performing for so long that we've forgotten what other things feel like. The modern world rewards this. In fact, it often depends on it. The system does not necessarily reward truth. It rewards the appearance of alignment, the appearance of wellness, the appearance of confidence and agreement and success. And after enough years, many people become experts at looking fine while feeling disconnected. They smile, they perform, they achieve, and meanwhile, their bodies are whispering, "This isn't us." This is why nervous system work actually really matters, because the body always knows the migraines, the autoimmune symptoms, the exhaustion that doesn't lift no matter how much you sleep, the anxiety that arrives every Sunday evening without fail, the cravings that appear after everyone else has gone to bed, the inability to rest without guilt, the sense that you're always slightly performing even in your own home. These are often not signs of weakness, they're signs of internal conflict. A body trying to hold together two realities at the same time: who you are and who you've learned to be. In traditional Chinese medicine, prolonged adaptation eventually creates stagnation, energy that cannot move, emotion that cannot speak, truth that cannot breathe. And eventually, the body begins carrying what the voice never said. The shoulders hold it, the jaw holds it, the gut holds it, the nervous system holds it. Until one day you find yourself wondering why you're exhausted from a life that appears successful on paper, why the achievements feel hollow, the relationships feel like a struggle and so full of effort, why rest feels impossible. It's not a mystery. This is the body communicating exactly what it's been holding for years. I have a question for you. What if healing isn't becoming someone new? Instead, what if healing is remembering who you were before the performance started? Before the people pleasing, before the perfectionism, before the endless proving, before the identity built entirely around being useful to everyone except yourself. Beneath every adaptation, there is still a self, quiet, patient, and waiting. Not demanding, not forcing, just simply waiting to be invited back. And maybe that's the real freedom that Orwell has been pointing toward in 1984. Not freedom from governments, although, yes, I would love that. Not freedom from institutions, but yes, I would love that too. But freedom from the invisible prison that we build when we forget that who we are allowed to be as our own selves. The moment you stop performing long enough to hear your own voice again, that's when something remarkable can happen. You realize the person that you've been searching for was never gone. She was simply waiting underneath all the noise, waiting for a moment of safety, waiting for permission, waiting for you. And healing begins the moment you stop asking, who do I need to be? And start asking, who am I when I no longer need to perform? Before we close, tomorrow I'll be sharing some reflective questions in the community tab. Be sure to come back and use them for journaling or just simply contemplation. You can also use them for deeper conversations with a therapist or counselor if that feels supportive for you. There's no pressure to have immediate answers. Sometimes the healing can begin when we simply give space for the questions themselves. Thank you so much for choosing to spend this time with me today, luminous being. If something in this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear your reflections in the comments. How did this information shift the way you view yourself, your body, or your current season of life? What expanded your self-awareness as you listened? These conversations are not about perfection. They're about learning how to listen more honestly to ourselves with curiosity, compassion, and clarity. If this episode supported you in some way, please like, subscribe, or share it with someone you know that could really use to hear these words as well. And if you'd like to go deeper, I invite you to explore my free 5-day email course. The link is below in the description. It's where ancient wisdom meets modern science to support you on your own health, nervous system, and wellness journey. And until next time, may you continue healing at the speed of safety.